Hey everybody, this is Joe Workman, and thank you for joining today's podcast. And today we're going to go over a few different things. We're going to go over, there's a bunch of really great bundles out today, and so we're going to go through some of those and see how they can help you in your everyday workflow. There's a lot of great stuff in there for web developers, so it's very pertinent to our weavercast today. And after we kind of look at some of these bundles, I'm going to start diving into how to properly manage images within stacks. So that'll be a lot of fun. So without further ado, let's go ahead and jump into Safari and look at some of the bundles that are available today. So the first bundle that we're going to look at today is the yearly bundle from Mac Update. It's a great little bundle. The two key, pretty much main apps that are in this bundle are Toast and Data Rescue 3. Now, unfortunately, I just bought Data Rescue 3 like 2 months ago, so that really wasn't a selling point to me. And Toast, to be honest with you, DVDs and CDs and even Blu-ray, to me, it seems like old news. I don't need an app that burns stuff. If I really wanted to go ahead and burn something, I think OS X's features do exactly what I need, right? I need data on a CD. I don't really need to be burning videos onto CDs or DVDs to give to my friends or families. I don't really do that. But if you do that, Toast Titanium might be great for you, and make this bundle well worth it for you, since the bundle is $50 and Toast itself is $99, right? So, but if you don't have Data Rescue 3 and you're looking for like a data recovery app, that is definitely an awesome app. I do recommend it. I've owned it. It's saved my butt a couple times, recovering photos from reformatted, SD cards and stuff like that. So, I definitely recommend Data Rescue 3. It has saved my rear end. A couple other apps that are in there. I've talked about iStat menus, in one of my previous Mac Tech casts. And it is definitely one of my favorite all-time, apps and helper apps to kind of help me out. So check out my Mac Tech cast on iStat menus. Great little app. Definitely recommend it. Some of the other apps that are on this bundle are pretty much, they don't really tickle my fancy. Phone View I actually own. I use that from time to time. It is a quasi-useful app. Okay. Effects Studio Pro. I have a lot of other apps like out there, right? I have Analog app from Real Mac Software. We have Flare from the famous Icon Factory, right? Don't really need another app like that, I don't think. Fantastical has been getting a lot of fanfare lately for its awesome, unique views of calendaring. I myself haven't jumped on the Fantastical bandwagon yet. I do love iCal in Lion, and I've just been using that, to be honest with you. And but if you like some of these apps, this is a great bundle. Especially if you don't have Data Rescue 3 and you're looking for something like that, or you're interested in Toast. Okay, so great apps. The next bundle is Mac Legion over at MacLegion.com, and This bundle is actually very, 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 very good. It's got a lot of really good, top-notch quality apps in here, and is arguably one of the better bundles I've seen in a long time. The one app that first threw me for a loop when I saw this bundle was DevonThink Pro. Now, of course, it also has RapidWeaver, and if you know me, I'm an avid RapidWeaver fan and user, and develop for their platform. So if you don't have RapidWeaver, I definitely think you should check it out. The price of this bundle more than is worth it. RapidWeaver is normally $80, and you can get it today for $50 in this bundle, and you get a whole bunch of other great apps that go along with it. So RapidWeaver is an awesome app. This bundle's well worth it just for that app. But there are some really great other apps in here. DevonThink Pro, as I mentioned before, is an app that I've meant to look at for quite a long time. It's but it's price tag. I think it's $99.99, and I've never jumped on the bandwagon yet. But with this bundle, it's kind of made me think about it, and it kind of pushed me over the edge. I can get DevonThink Pro for $50, along with some other great apps, and I thought it was worth it. It's pretty much kind of like a digital junk drawer, right? Where you can just basically stuff everything in there. And so I'm going to play around with that. Maybe you'll see a webcast on it in the near future. So have a look and, keep a watch out for that. Now the next one kind of actually surprised me. Banner Zest Pro, was traditionally a Flash only. Basically, you could develop little Flash widgets, nice, normally photo slideshows or banners and things of that nature for your website. And it's traditionally always been Flash based. So when I first saw it on here, I was like, I don't know. It's Flash. It is the latest and greatest version 3, but it's Flash, right? I really don't care. I'm not going to use it. But, okay, I just happened to dig into it a little bit further and notice that the latest version 3 that was just released, which you get in this bundle, actually supports not only Flash, but also HTML5. So that's really, really cool. So on all browsers that support HTML5, Banner Zest will use HTML5. However, it will fall back gracefully to Flash on unsupported browsers such as our lovely and tried and true Internet Explorer. So, this is a great web developers bundle. RapidWeaver, Banner Zest Pro, 2 awesome apps, okay, for web developers. Another one, Corel Painter. If you're a designer and you do some design for your websites, I'm not much of a designer myself, and I have other things like Pixelmator, and I have Acorn, and I own Photoshop Elements. So, having another painting program, I don't know. I'll play around with it, see if it has what unique features it has, if you're looking for something like that, great. Postbox, I love Mail for Lion, so probably not going to be using Postbox too much. Another great little app that's in here that I thought was a great little addition, probably an app I wouldn't buy for myself, but because it was a part of this bundle, I'm happy to have it, and that's the last one on the list here. It's called Fumi. And Fumi is a really great little app that kind of creates these colored smoke-like graphics that could be great for, website banners, backgrounds, and things of that nature. So I look forward to playing around with Fumi. You might see it on a future webcast here. Okay, so Mac Legion, $50, maclegion.com. Awesome bundle. The top-notch apps here for me, RapidWeaver, Banner Zest Pro, DevonThink Pro, and the first really, the kind of goodie here is Fumi for me. Some of these other ones, Voila, Checkup, Disk Drill Pro, I'll play around with them. I'm sure they're probably great apps, and I'll look into them. Disk Drill Pro, from what I see, is kind of maybe a contender to the Data Rescue 3 that we saw in the Mac Update promo. So maybe the Mac Legion promo really is the go-to bundle here, since Disk Drill Pro kind of looks like it does some file recovery as well. So great app, great bundle. You got to check out Mac Legion, okay? Now the next bundle that we're going to look at is another bundle that I've purchased. Now I actually already owned probably a majority of the apps in this. I already owned LaunchBar, already owned Lightroom, already owned Color Schemer, already owned Hype, and already owned Xlimmer. Okay, but the apps that I didn't own, Divi looked quasi interesting. Seamless Studio was a tickler. It seemed definitely interesting to create. For taking this as a website, right, is definitely a great tool to develop, tiled backgrounds and things of that nature. So, Seamless Studio looked very interesting. It was intriguing, but that app alone didn't really bring it home for me, standing on its own, right? But if something else in the bundle was intriguing to me, then, it definitely would push me over the edge. So, there were a couple other things in here, basically the icons. So there's 2 icon bundles in here. I think in total you get like 400 icons. And some of the icons I actually quite liked. I thought I could use them in some of my Mac apps coming up. So I like Smashing Magazine. They have some new ebooks coming out. And I like their ebooks. I've purchased their ebooks in the past, and I didn't have the ones that were here. So really the Seamless Studio, the icons, and the Smashing Magazine ebooks kind of brought this bundle home for me. But, okay, LaunchBar. LaunchBar, I've done a full-blown webcast on my Mac Tech podcast here. So make sure if you haven't checked out LaunchBar, check out my podcast and you can really see the power of LaunchBar. I use LaunchBar 1,000 times a day. It's integrated into my muscle memory in my fingers, and I couldn't imagine a Mac without LaunchBar. So, if you're looking for something like LaunchBar, please check out my podcast, watch it. You'll fall in love with it. Fabulous app. I think it's the one app that should be on every single Mac in the world. Okay. Color Schemer for web design, it's indispensable tool for defining colors, finding what colors match with which other colors, right? So if you want to find color schemes for your website, plan out, these are the colors I want to use for my links. This is going to be my text, so on and so forth. You can really kind of mix and match the colors and see which colors, go with what other colors, right? So the next great app here is Hype. Now I plan on doing in the near future a full-blown webcast on Hype itself, okay? And Hype allows you to build HTML5 website graphics that you can easily integrate into RapidWeaver. Okay. Now you can build it all into any other website, right? But this is a great tool if you are a RapidWeaver user. Hype is a great tool for getting HTML5 animations, not using Flash, straight HTML5 websites, and integrate those nicely and seamlessly into RapidWeaver. So look in the future for a webcast on Hype. I think it's a great app. I've played around with it for a couple months now, and it's really, really slick. So the Bundle Hunt bundle. I think it's a great buy. If you don't have some of these apps like LaunchBar or Hype, I think it's a no-brainer. Color Schemer as well, right? If you don't have those three apps, Lightroom is another great little text editor app. Okay, I don't want to belittle it. I do own it and I do use it. So great apps there. But I think LaunchBar, Color Schemer, and Hype, those three apps, especially if you're a web designer, I think those apps are pivotal to your workflow. Okay. Now the last bundle here is probably a lesser known bundle, and this is a bundle site called Mighty Deals that comes out with a mega bundle from time to time. And here they claim to have $1,500 worth of creative items for only $50. Okay. Now I'm not going to go into each one of these, but there is just a plethora of icons and images and PSD files and audio loops and templates for websites and just a ton of creative content here. Now I've purchased this bundle in the past, and I've really loved the icons that I've got out of here. I've used some of the artwork on my website. So, while I might not use everything that's within this bundle, I definitely get my money's worth out of it. I think it's a great little bundle, mightydeals.com, and you should definitely check this one out too, especially if you're a web designer and you're looking for some new graphics and things for your websites. Okay, so that pretty much deals with the four bundles that are currently out right now that I'm aware of, at least. I will definitely make sure I put links to all of these in the show notes. So, I have a couple affiliate URLs here. So if you click on the affiliate URLs from the show notes, I would appreciate it. It definitely helps fund these great podcasts that we have going on here for you guys. So now we're going to go and jump into the meat of this webcast. And that's looking at images within stacks. So let's go ahead and do that. So now I've got a blank RapidWeaver file open with stacks. And let's go ahead and how can we deal with images properly within stacks? So let's go ahead and add a default image stack to our stacks page. And as you see here, I just have an image. Let's go ahead and add an image into there. Now, first thing, if you notice, you can actually drag an image directly into stacks, and it will automatically create a stack image head or stack image in there for you. Therefore, you didn't actually have to drag in the stack in there, the image stack in there. All you have to do is drag your image, and it will automatically add an image stack for you. So a cool little shortcut for those of you that add images into your pages all the time, which is probably going to be all of us, right? So let's look at the default kind of stacks image HUD and show you exactly what we can do here. Okay. So to get to the image HUD, as we all know, every stack has an eye, and you click on the eye and you get this HUD here that basically allows you to add a border to your stack or change the background color, margins, padding, and width, right? And position, okay? However, there's another special HUD for images that a lot of people tend to miss. And how you get to that is you double click on your image, and what you'll notice is the image will kind of open up and a gearbox will show up. If you click on that gear, we now see a HUD that is specific for an image, okay? Now this isn't just for the out-of-the-box image stack. This particular HUD shows up in any image drop area, even in third-party stacks that we see across the stacks community, okay? So if you see a little drop area like we see in, like we saw here, and you can add and drag and drop an image into a stack, you can modify this HUD and modify the images for, that particular thing easily within here, okay? Now the first setting that we see here is scale, okay? So we can scale the image. 100% definitely shows you, 100% of what that image is. There is a small caveat here that I will show you in a little bit so that we can go over that. The next setting that we have here is rotation. So you can easily kind of rotate your, image directly on the page so that, you can, completely rotate an image, do some image rotation. So, nice little feature. Not exactly, to be honest, I'm not sure I've actually used image rotation at all. I've pretty much just used, if I want an image, rotated, I'll probably rotate it outside of RapidWeaver, right? But you can then add a border. Now, if you notice before, this border is different than the stacks border because it adds a border around your image. Now, an important point is here that this does not add a CSS border to your image. It actually adds a border to your image, modifies the image, and then the image itself that is deployed and published to your website contains a border, okay? So this is a little bit different than adding a CSS border to your image. Next thing is shadows. Same thing here. You can add a shadow, a nice drop shadow. You can define definitely, how opaque do you want the shadow to be, the color of your shadows, the blur radius of your shadows, okay, the X and Y offsets of that shadow. Now, as I stated with the border, this is not a CSS shadow. This is actually adding a shadow to the image, and then when the image is published to your site, that image will contain a drop shadow. It does not use CSS or CSS3 at all. Okay, you're actually modifying the image within stacks. The last things you can add is file name. So if you've noticed, Stacks kind of renames your files to stacks underscore some unique ID.png. Okay, but if you want to give your file a name, so I want to make sure that it's called toolbox. Okay, so when it's deployed, it will be called toolbox.png. Okay, and the final thing is the alt tag. So the alt tag is definitely helpful for SEO, for search engine optimization. It definitely adds, if you hover over the image, you can see the alt text there. A lot of JavaScript sliders, such as my new Samurai stack, will take the contents of the alt tag and then place them and use them maybe as a caption, within the image, things of that nature. So the alt tag is a common place where you can basically add, a sentence that, basically describes what that image is. So now I've noticed, if you've heard me say, that this file will be being called PNG. So one thing, let's preview this really quick, but as this previews, Stacks will modifies all the images. So even if you drag in a JPEG of an image, that image, once published, will be turned into a PNG file. So that is true if you use the image stack, okay? That image will always be exported as a PNG file, okay? So if we look at this image, we can drag it out. Let's see, there we go. We'll notice if we drag this image out, let's save it to my desktop, okay? we see that the image itself has a border and it has a shadow. That proves to us that this shows us that this does not use CSS at all for these shadows or these attributes. Okay, it does modify the image, and when the image is deployed, that image itself will contain a border and a drop shadow. Okay. Now I told you there was one caveat here with the scale. Okay. Now let's say I had a really big image. This image was 1500 pixels wide. Okay, Stacks has a safeguard to kind of protect yourself from yourself, and it helps you not deploy such large images to your website. Because large images hence means, a bigger file size, therefore means slower page load times. Therefore, if we go into the Stack preferences, we'll notice that there's a reduce large images settings. Okay, and basically the default is 800 pixels by 800 pixels. So Stacks will always constrain the image to be no larger than 800 pixels wide or tall. Okay, so if you drag an image that's 1500 pixels wide, okay, and then you go and say, hey, but I set my scale to be 100%, the maximum width that image will export at is 800 pixels. Okay, so if you wanted to increase that, if you wanted to not protect yourself, right, you can definitely go in here and say, I want this to be 1200 by 1200 pixels. Okay, save that, and now our maximum is 1200 pixels. Okay, so now if we were to go and put this at 100%, now I've played around, and I think you actually have to, if you add an image in and change those preferences, you're gonna have to re-add the image in for the larger size to take effect. Okay, so if you have a 1500 or 1200 pixel image and you want that in, make sure you set your preferences first, drag that image in, set the scale to 100%, and then you should be good to go. Okay. So this pretty much goes over all the basics of images, right? If you want to get an image on your page, and that's it, you don't really want to really do any effects with it, or you just want an image on your page, this is perfect. Okay. Now there is another way to get images on your page, and that's actually through, believe it or not, a text stack. Okay. Now a text stack uses a style text area that is used all across RapidWeaver, even on a RapidWeaver style text page. Okay, so I'm not going to go through all the details here, but you can definitely add an image directly into a text stack. Now, when you do that and you double click on an image, you will get RapidWeaver's media editor. This will allow you to define the scale of your image, the file name. Okay, now if you notice here, the file name will be a JPEG. So if you want to get around Stack's conversion to PNG, you can definitely use a style text stack, and then you can rotate it, you can crop it, you can flip your images, you can add shadows and borders, and of course you can add a fill color. But again, these are modifying the images, not adding CSS to your image. Okay. So if we go ahead and preview this, we will notice that I have my image. This top one is centered. Okay, we have the little styles that we added. And this bottom one is in a style text stack. Okay, that because everything is aligned left, it was aligned to the left. So, but if I wanted to center the image, I basically select everything, click on the center as if it was text, preview our page, and we'll see my image that I added into my style text stack is now centered. Okay, so that's another second way to actually add images within Stacks, and really within any style text area within RapidWeaver. Okay, so even if you have a style text page, or maybe you have Form Loom that has a style text header and footer, Okay, you can add images directly into there. You are not limited to just text. So that's another nice little tip and trick. Okay. So now let's jump into some third-party stacks that allow you to basically take your images to the next level. So here we are on my website, and if we go to the products page, Rapid Weaver, and if you'll notice I have a subsection here called image. If we click on that, we can see a lot of stacks that can help us with images. So let's just peruse through some of these, and I'll break out into Rapid Weaver and show you a few of them. But just to show you what else is possible out there to basically spiffy up your images and basically take your images to the next level. Okay. Now, one of the new ones, Samurai, I mentioned earlier in this cast, is a great, really kind of a banner where you can add all your images in there and have really cool transition effects between your images. Okay. Now you can autoplay these so that it autoplays things on an interval. And if you notice, all the CSS that you see here, it's all CSS and JavaScript. It does not use Flash. Okay. Now, what's cool about these, all these 3D animations. Now, what's cool about these is all the 3D animations do work in Safari and Chrome. Okay. And there is graceful fallback to other animations, your basic, kind of gallery style animations, in browsers that do not support 3D animations, such as Internet Explorer or Firefox. Hopefully these browsers will be updated soon so that they do support 3D animations. But as of right now, Safari and Chrome do. So they're the only browsers that your customers will actually see these great, awesome 3D transition effects. Okay. So if we go back, some other great stuff that we have here. Expose is an awesome lightbox for images. Scroll is a great little slideshow that lets you easily scroll through images, and we'll look at that. And Image Safe. If we look through Expose really quick, we have Expose Image Pro Stack that allows you to easily and dynamically load full resolution images. So when you saw I clicked on that lightbox, it actually dynamically downloaded the full resolution image. Therefore, the page load time was faster, so that the customer can see your image in full high resolution style. Okay, and what's great is Expose will adjust the size of your full resolution picture to really fit within the web browser. So even if your customers are viewing your website on their iPhone or their iPad, the image will adjust its size dynamically so that the customer can see the entire image. The scroll stack is a great stack that we have here to allow a basic little, great little, scrolling images. So you can have a kind of a quasi sliding scrolling of your images. Okay, you can add shadows and add various effects. You can add hover effects. You can add full-blown links to your images as well. The next one is Image Safe. Now, this is actually a really powerful tool, and to demonstrate Image Safe, I'm actually going to go ahead and preview this in Rapid Weaver. So here we have a blank Rapid Weaver file, and I'm going to go ahead and add an image, the same image, to our stack page again. And if we go ahead and preview this page, we will have our image. If you notice, it's just a straight image. And one of the things that is a caveat with any website, okay, is if you add an image to a page, pretty much any user can copy that image. If they want it, they can get it. Okay, all they have to do is simply drag and drop the image onto their desktop, and they have your image. It's as simple as that. You can also right-click. If we were in a browser, they could right-click and say Save Image As, right? Okay, but how can we stop that? Let's say I have an image that I don't want people to really be able to easily copy. Okay, that's where Image Safe comes in. If we open up and let's bring in Image Safe, okay, I'm going to go ahead and add this image into Image Safe. Now, if we preview this, okay, we see I have my image twice. I have my normal image here, which, as you see, I can click and drag and copy it off the website, and I have Image Safe. Now, if you notice, I am actually clicking here, but I cannot copy this image. Okay, even if I open this in Safari, let's go ahead and preview this in Safari. So if we preview this in Safari, if I right click on the top image, we'll see I have save image to downloads, save image as, add image to iPhoto library, right? There's all kinds of options here because Safari knows, hey, this is an image, okay? However, if we right click on the image below that is protected with image safe, we will see that those options do not exist. Okay, so this is a great way to help protect your images. Now, this isn't a foolproof way. There really is no foolproof way on the web to protect your images. If you have a user that is extremely smart and web savvy and can dig into your HTML and CSS code, they will find the image. Okay, but this basically adds a level deterrent for, probably 99% of the people out there that they cannot just drag your image off and copy your images from your website. Okay. Now, ImageSafe actually has a bunch of great other features, as well as protection. It allows you some really basic styles for your images. So you can add border radiuses to your images. Okay. So let's say we wanted to add a 10 pixel border radius. And what's cool is you can add a border radius different for every single side. So let's say we wanted the top left to be 9, we wanted the top right to be 3, the bottom left to be 10, and the bottom right to be 3. Okay, so you can also add shadows. So if I want to add, now this is CSS shadows here. This isn't actually modifying the image at all. So if we wanted to add a 6 pixel shadow with a slight offset of 6 and 3, okay, if we go ahead and preview this, we'll see that, let's go ahead and adjust padding a little bit here. Let's make our padding a little bit bigger so that we can see our cool new shadow, okay. So you see I do have a great new shadow of my stack. I have rounded corners. These are 10 pixels over here, and these are 3 pixels over here. I have my shadow, okay, and all of it works perfectly, okay. We can change the shadow color if we wanted it to be, let's say we wanted a dark shadow, okay, and we want to, let's see, the shadow size to be a little bit bigger, okay. Oh, and this, let's reduce these to be like 2 pixels and 4 pixels. Okay. Preview that. Now we have a kind of a more realistic shadow that you're more used to seeing, right? Where we have a darker shadow that has a blur radius of 10 pixels. It's offset by a few pixels on the bottom and top. Okay, and we have our rounded corners. Okay. Now some other great features of this image safe stack are you can actually show the shadow on hover. Okay, so let's go ahead and check that. And I'm going to do one more thing. This bottom setting is really cool. Okay, protect all images on the page. Now, if you notice when I check this, there's a warning that goes on there because while ImageSafe does its best to try to protect all images on your page, it is possible that some images it won't be able to protect. It depends on how images in that maybe it's the image in the theme, how it's implemented, or how some images in other third-party stacks are implemented. So test this out on a page. Check this box. Can I protect all images on this page? Okay. Now since this is pretty much a quasi, I can't guarantee it'll work. If you come to me and say, "Hey Joe, I used it with this stack, this other stack that creates this gallery, and it doesn't work." Sorry, okay. I don't have control over every third-party developer stacks and or themes. So while this stack does its darndest to protect all images on your page, it will protect any regular non-regular images easily. So if we go ahead and check that, and then we go and preview this page, this top image that is on the page that we were able to copy before, if we look, we're not able to copy it any longer. Okay, so just by checking that box, we're able to protect the images that are on the page. Also, like this image, my toolbox, protected on my page. Okay, so this is a great utility stack for images that allows you to add rounded corners to your images, add drop shadows. If we notice here, I took that shadow on hover option. So if we hover over the image, we have our drop shadow. Okay, and probably the most important feature is what its main feature is it protects your images from people visiting your website and stealing them. Now I have a bunch more image stacks here, and I'm not going to really go through all of them here, but please go ahead and visit my website, joeworkman.net/rapidweaver. Click on the image section, and you will see all of the awesome image stacks that we have available. We have some great hover effects, some great revealing and adding reflections to your images, great light boxes and zooming effects. So please go ahead, image galleries, please go ahead and peruse through our image section, and you will see some awesome effects to really make your images pop on your website. Well, that's about it, everybody. I'm going to call it a wrap for today. Thank you for joining. I appreciate you watching and listening with my podcasts. I hope that you enjoy these. I really enjoy giving them, and please, send me feedback. Let me know what I'm doing right, what I'm doing wrong. Give me ideas on what you want to learn, okay? Because I'm ultimately doing these for you. I want you to be able to learn and improve and make your websites great, right? Just as if you purchased any of my installers, right? I ask you, please use my stacks and go forth and make your website great. So, that's what I ask you to do now. Go ahead and make your websites great. If you want some more information, go ahead and check out my website, joeworkman.net. You can follow all my podcasts in iTunes, and you can get those feeds at podcast.joeworkman.net. And last but definitely not least, check out my blog, where I post tons of great tips and tricks, not only for web design, but also just Mac and technology in general. So you can check me out, my blog, at joeworkman.net/blog. Well, thank you very much, everybody. I hope you enjoyed the show again, and we'll see you next week. Bye.